All right, so for this video, we're going to be doing a space Dimetrodon. Started doing this one because I really enjoyed the T-Rex and the bubble hat. I just thought that was a lot of fun. So I wanted to do kind of another one. I'll probably even do a few more, but really just kind of wanted to play around with the concept a bit more. Just two things that I really love. Love space, love dinosaurs. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? You know, dinosaurs are just a ton of fun. The variety of shapes and just, you know, as a boy, you know, you kind of like what's going on there. So just laying out the basic shapes here really quickly, throwing in the body, the movement of the head down through the tail. I wanted to make sure that that negative shape right under his chin before that fin sail that a Dimetrodon has works out pretty well. Had a pretty good idea, wanted a gun in his hand, so I go into a bit more detail than normal pretty early on with that. Then I go back to the face. You know, after those basic shapes are in, the face is kind of where you want to go a lot of the time. Just keep going back to that because that's the thing that's got to stand out the most. That's the thing that's got to really read. But yeah, just throwing in different shapes, different things going on in there, trying to get the angle right, the shape of his jaw, the teeth going in there on him. So I wanted him to just, I liked the idea of this big blocky head, this big square head. That's kind of how I always imagined Dimetrodons. I really like the shape going on and the cheek there, the nose, you know, it has this big swooping shape and it has this big large shape around where the nose is down to a small shape by the eyes. Again, it's that variety of shape. You know, the spaces in between things even can create those shapes and can create those variety of patterns and things, which I really enjoy. Then as it gets more defined, just going in a bit darker and a bit darker, going on the eyes and the nose, the mouth, all those things, trying to lay it out. Straights versus curves. I'll take that straight at the top of the head that I really like, and then you just break it up just a few times. You know, break it up at the eye, break it up right at the nose. So it has that straight, and the straights always give it solidity, you know, it gives it a bit of, it gives it a sense of weight, it gives it a sense of like realness, straights, you know, and then the curves on it add that bit of organic nature to it because it's a, you know, it's a grown form. It's not, you know, a robot or anything like that. So, you know, that balance between the straights and curves is really going to help sell things a lot. So going in, really want to accentuate kind of those bottom lines, the bottoms of the feet, the bottom of the tail, let the weight kind of fall onto those shapes. I'll take this back leg here. Later on, I'll even shade it back a little bit, kind of push it back. If you shade it back just a hair, you can push it back by doing those things. Bit of shading under the chin, and then trying in the dinosaur, the T-Rex that I had done before had just a bubble hat and then kind of a collar. This guy, gave him a bit more. He's got the collar, but then he has a whole shirt and a belt. He even has some little bracers around his feet. You know, so this guy's a bit more prepared, but he does not have a bubble hat. I'm not even sure how a bubble hat would work on this guy right here. That'd be a massive, massive bubble to accommodate that massive head swinging around. So I don't know how he breathes in space, but he does, and that's fine. So going in, making sure again on that negative shape, that under the chin that works, really kind of pushing that, breaking up the shape even with one of the spines of the sail there, so it has that teeny little shape under the chin and then it breaks into a bigger one. Liking that a lot. Going in on the belt, getting some details and things. Kind of a very Buzz Lightyear type of belt. You know, you can see the little laser blaster he's got on the one wrist there. Just very much inspired by Buzz Lightyear, and then a lot of the things that that's inspired by as well. You know, those old retro space type of things. So I always like that type of stuff. I just, aesthetically, very, very pleasing. You can go in and do a lot of like nitty gritty stuff and a lot of hard details and stuff, and that works great for different applications. But for this one, I liked that clean and sleek. And I love when the text sometimes even has those curving shapes to it. It's not hard edges and things. Decided to go in and throw in another fin just for a variety of shape again, just to add some visual interest to him. I liked that a lot as well. Darkening up some of those fin lines, some of the ribbing in between there. Then I thought I'd add a bit of patterning into it as well. You know, something, a lot of these, you know, we have no idea what dinosaurs look like. In a lot of the documentaries I've seen and things nowadays, they'll throw in stripes or different patterns and stuff like that, and I really dig that. So doing that, going in on the ray gun. Love those ray guns. You just imagine those segments lighting up, making some kind of weird shooty noise. That'd be a lot of fun. Digging that a lot. Going back in to the toes, you know, so he's got some claws here, and I'm trying to make them so that they can bend and move a little bit. Definitely claws on the feet, but then for the fingers, kind of a claw-like thing going on there. Again, darkening up those bottom lines, pulling in some shading like that edge of the tail forward, kind of fading up into the rest of his body. Going in, just detailing, adding some hue variety, there's some darker shapes, there's some shaded in things like his shirt there. That way it'll push it back away from the rest of his body. You want that separation. You definitely can see, he has this face shape, and then this body shape, and then this tail shape. And so having that shading in there really kind of brings that out. So on top of the sail, I also wanted to have some kind of spots on him, some rough, just different spotting type of thing going on. Kind of helps play with some of the scales and things like that. And then I'll go in for the sails and kind of add a bit of shading to those as well. So he's just got some ornamentation to him. And so he'll have these big areas on him, like the bottom of his chin or right under his nose, that are just very blank and stark shapes. And then you'll have these areas that have a bit of pattern going into it. So that works out really well as well. So just going in now, highlighting some of those things, darkening up some of those lines, a bit more detail on some of the space stuff. I like putting vents in. I don't know what they're for, but it kind of breaks up that shape pretty well. I tend to always work in odd numbers. Like even numbers feels too symmetrical and too perfect, whereas odd numbers feel a bit more just organic and more fun. I don't know why that is. Is that just me? Maybe it's just me. But anyway, so I'll go like I hate to say that. Most of the time I'll do 3, or you'll do 5 or something like that. Groups of scales, I'll work in 3s and 5s. If you do 4, it just starts to look like a pattern too much for me. So just going in now, doing that final little bit of shading to finish him out. Thanks for watching today's drawing. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment at the bottom if there's something specific you want to see drawn, and maybe it'll make it into a future video.